Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Last Lap. In today's episode, it'll be the final episode of the NASCAR season, at least as far as covering a race is concerned, because obviously we'll be at Phoenix this week, and all three series will be competing for a championship. We're going to talk about all of that and some news that came out this week, but before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. And you can also check us out over on Instagram at The Last Lap News. And Matthew, we made it. We made it through a whole season. This is our first full season of doing this whole YouTube and Last Lap thing. So it's cool to finally get a whole year of racing under our belts. But how you feeling going into the last race of the season?
Well, it's already the last race of the season. There's some last that comes to this, like the last race of the Gen 6 car, the last race with 5 lug nut pit stops for the Cup cars, the last race for Chip Ganassi and NASCAR, and many more. So it's gonna be a crazy weekend for sure, and I hope all the races have overtime restarts because I want to see how crazy that gets.
Well, I do not want to see the Cup race come down to a green-white checker overtime restart like last year. I know that Truck and Xfinity races had one, and on Sunday when Chase was in the lead, I was like, please no caution.
Well, there's no need to worry There's no need to worry this week because Kyle Larson will be like 10 seconds away from the field.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that. But well, now that since you kind of mentioned it, we'll kind of talk about that in just a second. What you said about the whole final race for a few things, but quickly. The only real piece of silly season news that came out this week was that Snyder, it was announced he was going to be in the 31 car in the Xfinity Series, since obviously he was pushed out of his ride at Richard Childress Racing. So I guess it's good to still see him in the Xfinity Series and the 31. The 31 car, it hasn't won any races, but it's had some decent speed, so it'll be interesting to see if they can continue working on that car. And I believe they'll have a RCR Alliance as well next year if they don't already, so that'll be interesting to see how well Snyder does over there. So, Matthew, do you quickly have anything to say about that?
Well, this is for Jordan. I love Jordan Anderson Racing. It's great to see he's going to have a full-time driver in this car next year, as they were supposed to go full-time this year, but due to rain at Daytona earlier this year, he couldn't run like almost the first half of the season because he didn't have any points. So it's great to see him full time next year. As for Snyder, I mean, he's one of those paid drivers. You know, we have mixed opinions about those chopper drivers, but I mean, he has an Xfinity win, so that definitely helps his case, and he's gonna bring funding to that little team, so that's gonna be great for them. But other than that, I don't see him winning next year because even in RCR equipment, he got lucky on one win, and other than that, he hasn't really been that impressive to me. But I mean, we'll see. Especially at Daytona and Talladega, you just never know. But it's great for that little team, though.
Yeah, I don't really have much else to add besides that. Besides the fact that the Xfinity Series is going to be very competitive next year as far as drivers going for the championship, kind of like this year. I feel like all 4 drivers in the championship 4 have as equal as a chance to win the race and the championship at Phoenix as anybody. All 4 of them. I feel like they all have a pretty equal chance of winning it. So next year I expect the same thing in the Xfinity Series. But we're going to move on to the next topic that you kind of brought up earlier, and that it's the final race in the Cup Series for a lot of things. And I mean, you could even throw the Truck Series in there because they're running new bodies next year, but it's not like it's not a whole new car, but like just a new updated body style for the Truck Series. But you mentioned most of the things already. It's going to be the last race for the Gen 6 car that ran from 2013 through this year. Definitely went through a lot of changes over the course of those almost 10 years. As another thing, like you said, is the 5 lug nuts in the Cup Series. They'll be just running the one giant lug nut on the car. It'll be interesting to see if they end up transferring that over to the Xfinity or Truck Series in the next few years. But as for now, they're just going to do that in the Cup Series starting next year, so no more 5 lug nut pit stops. Ryan Newman, it could be his final race. There's not been any major talks about where he'll go next season, if he will get a ride, full time, part time, whatever. Chip Ganassi, like you also said, will be their last season as an owner since Trackhouse bought that whole franchise, which is arguably the biggest shock of the year. I'm trying to think of some other lasts in the Cup. Are there any tracks that aren't going to be in the schedule next year? I'm not sure. I can't think of any at the top
but
of
I
my
want
head.
to talk about the Gen 6 car and its history here. For a lot of these new fans, younger fans that came into NASCAR, pretty much all or most of their time they watch NASCAR has been the Gen 6 car. And that includes me as well. I was fortunate when I came to NASCAR. I was able to watch like the last season of the Gen 4 cars and going into the car tomorrow. So it's gonna be a little weird for me to see a brand new car on the racetrack because we've had this same car for almost 10 years now, and it's been the last. I was like 11, 12 years old when they stopped. I was 13 years old when they unveiled the Gen 6 car, and I'm 22 now. So it's flown by. It seems like it's crazy, but this Gen 6 car has really had a lot of impact on these younger fans, in my opinion. While most of the time it's been kind of negative with the racing wise, it's going to feel weird to see a different car next year, considering how a lot of these new fans have been watching the Gen 6 races all this time.
And honestly, to be fair, almost each manufacturer has went through a major change through the Gen 6 car, with the exception of Toyota. They've kept the Camry ever since they came into the sport. But
they changed the noses
you saw Ford
twice.
Yeah, they changed the nose, but there wasn't like a whole body configuration. Whereas Chevy, they went from the SS to the Camaro, and then Ford went from the Fusion to the Mustang. So there was a bunch of changes within those organizations. I know it took Chevy quite a few years to finally get their A game back on again. 2018 is the year that they brought the Camaro into the sport, and they had their ups and downs in that season. But each manufacturer went through a bunch of changes. Unfortunately, that's when Dodge left the sport right after 2012. But going into the Gen 6 car, I guess they just didn't want to be a part of it. But hopefully we'll see some more manufacturers come into the sport in the future. Apparently that's why the next gen car was created, so that it would be cheaper for more manufacturers and team owners and all that to get involved in the sport. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head that is a final thing for this season of NASCAR. But can you think of anything else?
Final race for Starcom.
Just had to throw that minor shot in there. But we're gonna hop into our picks and predictions for this week at Phoenix. And Matthew thought of a new idea, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him explain it really quick, and then we'll hop into our picks and predictions.
So for this championship weekend, we're gonna have two types of. We're gonna have one prediction, and that's gonna be who is gonna win the championship. So it's gonna be one pick for each series who's gonna win the championship. And then we're gonna have an option here, which Jimmy's already elected to use this option for all three. You're gonna get a bonus point if you want to pick a non-playoff driver to win the race, along with your driver that you picked to win the championship. So you get a point. You're gonna get a point for who wins the championship, and you get an extra point if that non-playoff driver that you pick wins the race. So it's going to be 1 point for Truck Series, Xfinity Series, 1 point for both of those categories. And then for the Cup Series, we're going to go with 3 points who wins the championship. We're going to raise up the stakes since it's Cup Series. 3 points who wins the championship, and they're going to get that 1 bonus point if they choose a non-playoff driver to win the race.
I like it. I thought of an idea where we could each kind of pick 2 picks, but I like this idea too, and we'll roll with it. So why not take advantage of an extra point when you can pick a playoff driver for each series?
Only one driver wins the championship. You gotta have your solid pick.
Yep. So I like that, and we're gonna go ahead and roll with that. So you have the floor for the trucks. you want to do truck and Xfinity first, or do you want to do like each series individually? I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
I'm doing truck and Xfinity
All right.
first.
All right, you got the floor for truck and Xfinity, so go ahead and tell me who you got.
All
Big
right.
surprise incoming, by the way.
Anyways, for the truck series, for who's gonna win the 2021 Truck Series Championship, I gotta go with John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, he's been the best truck driver all season long, regular truck driver this season. Obviously, Kyle Busch has been in a couple of races, but as for the regular Truck Series drivers, John Hunter Nemechek's been the best, in my opinion. I mean, the stats are there, 5 wins, always been up there. As for who will win the regulars, which non-playoff driver will win the truck race if he does win, which will be hard to do since Championship 4 cars and trucks are going to be super competitive. I will go with Sheldon Creed just because I believe he should have been the Championship 4 instead of like Zane Smith or Matt Crafton. Well, maybe not Matt Crafton, but Zane Smith definitely. Only 2 top 5s is in the Championship 4, but whatever. So I got Sheldon Creed as my non-playoff driver to win the race. And for the Xfinity Series, who will win the championship? I have to go with AJ Allmendinger. He has 5 wins as well, and they're not all on road courses. He's a road course expert, but they're not all road courses. He has won ovals as well. So I think he's going to win this championship, and I think everybody's going to love it when he wins. I mean, everybody loves AJ Allmendinger. And as for the driver, a non-playoff driver who will win the race, I will go with John Hunter Nemechek again, because the last time John Hunter Nemechek was in that 54 car was at Texas, and he won. So I have to give the nod there. I think my pick to win the truck championship is going to carry that momentum the next day to win the playoff race, and that 54 car is just way too fast.
All right, those are very solid and predictable picks for you. For me, okay, you're gonna have to help me, and I might get roasted in the comments for this, but
no.
So for the truck series, it's John Hunter Nemechek, Matt Crafton, Zane Smith. Who's the other driver?
Ben Rhodes.
Ben Rhodes. Okay, thank you. Sorry, you guys can flame me in the comments for that. But for me in the truck series, John Hunter Nemechek's the clear favorite, and I really think that he's gonna be the one to get it done. But for me, I'm gonna throw a little bit of a long shot out there. I'm gonna say Zane Smith. I feel like he might be able to. He might be able to throw an. You saw what he did at Martinsville.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it out there. It is a GMS truck, so
2 top 5s though. Are you kidding me?
We've seen how well the GMS trucks have been this season, so I'm gonna pick Zane Smith as my pick for the championship. And as for a driver that might be able to win the race, I'm gonna go with the guy.
has a way better shot than Zane Smith, but okay.
I'm gonna go with for my pick that might win the race that isn't a playoff driver. I'm gonna go with the guy that almost won last week. I'm gonna pick Todd Gilliland. I feel like he could make some noise and possibly shake it up there. So I'm gonna go with him as my other pick. As for the Xfinity Series, this is tough because my heart wants to say one guy, and my brain wants to say the other guy. So I don't know what I should go with. You tell me
who you're gonna pick.
You tell me. Should I go with my heart or my brain? Tell me which one to pick, and I'll pick it.
Whoever has the best momentum right now. That's all I can say. Whoever's the best momentum right now.
I got that. That's what my heart is saying, and I'm gonna pick Noah Gragson. I feel like he could.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Yep. We've seen what happens when he has some momentum. He won at Richmond and Darlington back to back, and he just won at Martinsville to punch his ticket to the championship 4. So I feel like Noah Gragson has some pretty good momentum heading into Phoenix, and we've seen how aggressive he could get when it comes to racing for a win. I don't think we'll see. We won't see anybody wreck each other for the championship. I hope not. But we've seen how aggressive he could be, so I feel like Noah Gragson has a really solid chance to upset. And as for a non-playoff driver, I honestly can't think of one off the top of my head. So Man, I don't even know. I'm gonna pass on a pick in the Xfinity Series because I don't.
Oh,
It's gonna
okay.
be between. I mean, the final four and the 54. Those are gonna be the five cars to beat. I can't think of anybody else that could even contend with those four cars for a win. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and pass on that. But heading into the Cup Series, though, man, it's the same thing in the Cup Series. It's like my heart and my brain. What do I want to pick here?
I
For
know you're going to pick. Just pick him.
I really, if I
I
don't
know.
pick
We all know where you're going to pick. Just pick him. Just do
if
it.
if I don't pick him, then it'll be a disgrace to my fan base. But if I do pick him,
Okay.
that leaves you with two of the like championship favorites at this point. So,
Just say it.
man,
Just do it.
I'm saying Kyle Larson, baby. I'm saying Kyle Larson.
Wow,
I'm gonna pick
okay.
it. I'm gonna pick it. It's a Hendrick driver.
If
Either
Elliott
way.
wins the championship, I'm going to laugh so hard.
He's a Hendrick driver either way. So there's not that much disgrace right now. But I'm competitive. I want to win this fantasy thing between you and me. So I have to pick Kyle Larson. And as for a non-playoff driver, I really don't think a non-playoff driver is going to win because a non-playoff driver has never won in the Final Four race. But if I were to pick one, whew, man, I don't know.
You don't have to pick a non-playoff driver as an option.
I might as well. I mean, I'm gonna go for it anyways. I'm gonna steal your pick. I'm gonna pick Kyle Busch actually for the non-playoff driver. So go ahead. You
Okay.
got the floor for your Cup champion and your possible upset pick.
Alrighty. Who will win the 2021 Cup Series championship? Realistically, it should be Kyle Larson, but Jimmy took that pick, apparently, over his driver. So, who I think has been really good on these 750 tracks, on these shorter tracks? Martin Truex Jr. That's who I'm going to pick. He's going to win his second Cup Series championship this weekend, and he will join Kyle Busch as the two only multiple champions after this weekend in the Cup Series. So I got Martin Truex Jr. Actively. I know Jimmy Johnson's retired. Anyways, Martin Truex Jr. is my Cup pick for the championship. As for a non-playoff driver to win the race, we haven't had a Cup Series non-playoff driver win the championship race ever since it's been established in 2014. But if it were to happen this weekend, I would pick William Byron because ever since he's got knocked out in the playoffs, that 24 car has looked so strong, running in the top 5, running in the front almost every race since he got knocked out of the round of 12. Which I don't need to explain why he got knocked out in the round of 12. We already established that. But I think William Byron, if somebody was to win the race, a non-playoff driver, I think it'll be William Byron.
All right, yeah, those are very solid picks. Yeah, I couldn't let you have Kyle Larson. So, I mean, would you do the same thing though if Kyle Busch was in the championship four and Kyle Larson?
No, of
Would you
course
pick?
not.
Would you
Of
pick?
course not. I would have picked my boy. It doesn't matter if we had 0 wins or 5 wins. I would have picked him.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna be rooting for Chase Elliott anyways. This is where the brains come into work. You have to pick with your brain. You can't let your heart. I mean, well, I can't talk. I literally just did that for Noah Gregson. But anyways,
Yeah, exactly.
but I think that's it for our picks. Do you have anything else to say before we wrap the episode up?
Well, it's been a great season, and it's going to be sad to see us another season close, and we have to wait till next year for more racing. But I think it was a really great season. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but I think it was a great season to conclude the last season, the Gen 6 car, and some last after this race. So, yep. I'm ready for this weekend, and I'm sad to not have racing after this weekend.
Yep, I couldn't say it better myself. So that's gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. Our review should hopefully be out Monday or Tuesday next week. Also, if you guys haven't checked out our Martinsville vlog, you definitely need to do so because there was a lot of cool stuff in that video that'll be posted where you guys can see it near the end of the video. But definitely check that out if you want to see some content. We saw a bunch of drivers and got a bunch of video clips and all kinds of crazy stuff. So make sure you guys check that video out. But yeah, until our next video, we will see you guys next time.